Hello again. Thank you for joining me for our drawing technique, free drawing technique, in which I will use the prompts used for Inktober 2021. So let's see, and I'll explain what I'm going to do. Let's see what we're having. So today's day 10 of 10, and the topic is pick. Okay, well, what can I do? I'm going to show the technique that's known in Neurographica, the algorithm for removing inner constraints. It's going to be follow me, so I will give a little bit of explanation, enough to complete this exercise. But the rest, if you would like to know deeper, I have courses available. I will probably teach this course, the foundation of Neurographica, later in October, beginning of November. I'm planning to start this course. So today, as you can see, it's simple. I'm going to use black marker because it's Inktober. And if you wonder what I'm using, it's a little bit more expensive option, but I'm using a Pigma Graphic one, and its size is 1 millimeters. I found it the nicest one. And maybe a Sharpie pen, which is okay. Not a Sharpie pencil, not a Sharpie marker, but a pen, which has a nice line. Of course, coloring pencils, and a few simple, these are very simple kids markers for school. It's not even student grade, it's with low, it's from an inexpensive store. So sometimes I use them, but I'm going to show with explanation. This is a more also marker and a little bit thicker than this one. So pencils, coloring pencils for later. And the regular paper, it's a nice smooth paper, good quality, but it's not heavy. You'll see. And the regular paper that I'm going to use is a printer paper for explanations. So it's enough to begin. Let's start from the very beginning. Let's first pick the theme, or rather we picked it. It's a pick. And I explain what it means. I would like to make a decision, and I can't pick one direction in my professional field, one or the other. Which one the concentration? So this drawing is supposed to have the theme of choosing, picking what I feel more like, what I would like to do. So the theme, and you can follow this prompt as well, or you can select any theme that you would like, something that bothers you, just pick one and describe it with one word. If it's relationship, it's relationship. If it's weather, let it be weather. If it's health, if it's headache, anything. And we will do exercises known like minimum 20 words in 20 minutes to activate the theme, which is very important to make it more apparent. Just pull it from our subconscious mind as much as you do. What I say, theme, don't be restrained by it. Just write everything on paper, what comes, like first word that comes in your mind. But desirable to have at least 20. And we will set a timer for 2 minutes. And we will do it really quickly. 1 hour, it's a little bit too long. I have 2 minutes. Then we use make sure that the pencil that you're using is you can write well with it. Okay. So this goes well. Like from now, we will not need this one. So I'll put it a little bit aside. And let's begin. Start. Any word that comes in your mind right now, it's a stream of consciousness, no restriction. second, right? Okay. 40 seconds. Noun, verbs, adjective, adverbs, anything. Any language, whatever language you write, everything okay. Stop. As you can see, I have more than 20, and I'm very used to doing this exercise in like almost 3 years of practicing Neurographica. And I have a pick and draw and heart and choose and community and flow and joy and God and good and paint, pain, cloud, chaos, move, forward, okay. As you can see, nothing is strictly related to my theme, that is pick, which meaning selecting the two. And that's what brought my subconscious mind. We are not going to analyze it right now. What we will do, we will start drawing. And first, we will gather our energy. This is called catharsis. That becomes the avatar of our feeling, what connects us with the drawing. And for a few seconds, even less, I'm going to draw something. It's like spontaneous expression. I just think about my theme, I gather my feelings, and I do something very simple, just spontaneous expression done by my hand on the page. And why I'm using pen is because I have a habit of breaking pencil and marks, and you can use a marker or you can use a pencil, whatever you feel like. And I like, okay, this is what feels like and that becomes the foundation of my drawing. And now what I would like to explain is a neurographic line. The neurographic line, that next step that we're going to do. See, the neurographic line, by definition, is the line that doesn't repeat itself in any segment. It's not just a spontaneous line. At the beginning, before you get used to it, you just can follow and not to make sure that it doesn't repeat itself. So that means that this part doesn't resemble this part and doesn't resemble that part. Of course, you can say that it will be a straight line in our a couple millimeters and parts of the image. Of course, it's going to be a straight line, but at the same time, this doesn't equal this one and this equal. So it's not repetitive. Okay, it's not like a straight line. Like, for example, a straight line is predictable. We know that when we start here, it's going to be all the way from point A to point B. It's going to be the same. For example, a pattern line. Let's say like we're going to do nice pattern here. And the beauty of the pattern is in its repetition. is that this part is equal this part and equal this part. And we know what will continue. The next part is like this. It's predictable and reinforces the thinking. What we're going to do with Neurographica, we're trying to change our impression. So if we repeat, if we continue drawing and we'll do the lines like that, now we'll just reinstate, we'll just repeat whatever happened to us. With Neurographica, the goal of Neurographica is to change our impression, our original impression, to something else. So we're just trying to get ourselves from this pattern. Again, I'm going to explain much more in the course. But meanwhile, we're just doing this exercise, and you have any issue, any stress, we're just dealing with it right now. And the method that I'm going to show today is more like emergency. You know, you call the ambulance in the express method very quickly, and it could be done as quickly as 15-20 minutes. And depends on the size of the drawing, and depends how much time you would like to invest into it. So all this is not neurographic line, and this is not neurographic line. Just remember at the beginning, those who know what the neurographic line is great, but for those who don't know, at the very beginning, just please remember that the line that doesn't repeat itself. And with this non-repetitive line that we can't predict because the mind doesn't know what follows next, we're doing it's like neuroscience. We're going to change the patterns of our mind by act of seeing and doing. Actually, with our hand, we include two elements, two actions, seeing and doing. So that's what the neurographic line, just make sure that if you see that, for example, neurographic line like this, if it's direction, and we will have straight lines. If it's like straight line, make sure that what we'll do is that we move your hand slightly like this to make it a nice natural line, organic. Probably if you observe in nature, there are no straight lines. Even a tiny line on a leaf or waves, or let's say cracks on the wall, there will be tiny movements that are not straight if you look very closely. Example of the neurographic line in nature could be cracks on the wall, like soil. When it dries, moisture evaporates, it cracks. Eyes, beautiful lines. And it twigs on the branches, trees, waves. Like, pay attention. And leaves, even if you look on a leaf, every line will be nice and beautiful, natural. They're similar, but they're not the same. So now let's talk about the principle of rounding. So now we have the two lines. And they intersect. And we will have many lines that intersect. Here. So what we need to do is just to, exactly what it says, is to round the corners. And why we're doing this? It's our relationship with the forms that surround us. It's very interesting. It's deep below the surface of the conscious mind. So if we can imagine, like, that's exactly the pyramid of consciousness that I have a video, free video on YouTube. So this could be the conscious mind, and neuroscientists assume it's about around 5%. and the rest is the subconscious mind. So deep below in our subconscious mind, and maybe what you call it primordial dinosaur brain, we have a special relationship with different figures. For example, the figure that we know as a circle, round, as associated with everything possible. The sun, the moon, and later it's transferred in something like objects, like, the halos. This figure is perfect. It's symmetrical. And any round object, if we look on Earth, like in physical world, we can't damage ourselves. There are no sharp corners. It also represents infinity. There's no beginning, no end. Timelessness, perfection, ideal, wholeness. The figure like triangle is also, we have special relationship. But from the early days, this sticking corner always has an element of danger, physical. Sharp rocks, teeth of wild animals, thorns on plants, and then weapon, like arrow and spear, knives, all they have sharp edges, or broken glass. Instinctively, if you think about something sharp, if you see broken glass, let's say on the sidewalk, we have an unpleasant feeling about those corners. Like broken glass will be all in many, many triangles. Well, later in the more advanced course of Neurographica, we can talk about triangles because it's a very powerful figure. But for now, let's eliminate this sharpness in our drawing, because all this sharpness instinctively we'll see with these two lines, will instinctively move away from that. And we don't want to move away because we want to accept whatever we do, whatever this figure of tension that we express in our paper. I'm referring to this paper. So if we were able to express our feelings about some issue, this means that there was enough tension. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be able to draw anything. And you see how sharp it is and how many corners it has. So with all these corners, if we take with our own hands and transform those sharp elements, sharp corners, into a positive element, like a circle, imagine that here is a, we're not going to draw it, but our minds complete the picture. This will change our attitude towards our drawing. And instead of perceiving it as tense and sharp, our impression will be changed into something softer, smoother. See, there's nothing, again, a line and line. Like here with this huge sharp twist, here, turn. But if we visually and physically change this corner into a circle, our movement will be much smoother. And what the Neurographica does, it's not instead of doing something. Neurographica helps us to move our project, move our life. It's just the way how we can smooth our way in life. It's not instead. It's just it's a helping tool. So with this knowledge, and you're welcome to ask questions in our group, and I will explain more. But for now, I hope I have explained enough for us to continue with this drawing. So we're back to our drawing, and I'm showing you the quickest way to relieve this tension. Again, we're using the neurographic line. And I will draw the lines on top of the existing lines and from one side of the page to another. It's called the express method of the algorithm for removing inner constraints. Don't be taking you so much confused by the word algorithm. What it means is just a sequence, a step, the way how we do this. It's a term that comes from computer technology, but what it means, it's a way of doing something. So in this drawing, just straighten, not straighten, I don't mean like straighten, make it straight lines, but I convert all these lines from just unconscious, spontaneous lines. I use my conscious mind to accept, to just almost like I'm drawing on top and I'm living through these lines again with my marker. It's a great technique of acceptance. And where I'm taking them outside of the page. In the field, in space, where they disappear. You can draw lines where they don't exist, just making this drawing on the page uniform. Don't forget to breathe in and out. I see that I would like to make this tension inside equal the tension more like the sides, and I just to balance. Let's say I would like to balance this page, and I will draw an extra line here. And they have an extra space here. Let's say I would like to include another line here and maybe another line here. So the idea is to dissolve or diffuse the original spontaneous image in the field, in this drawing. So next, now when we have a network of lines, what we do, we just round. Exactly what I'm going to do around the corners. We take our marker and round the corners. Make sure you can do it very carefully so the noise, it's not only the sharpen to reduce the sharpness, but also make a transition from one area to another very smooth. You can go over the line the second time, and it's very typical for my drawings. And if you have the areas, a tight area like this, I can just fill it in. Just continue. What are you going to do in this with your mind? Just for now, breathe in and out. see what your hand is doing. Just focus on the movement of your hand. You don't need to repeat your topic. Just relax and observe your hand. Somebody who is familiar with meditation techniques, you can observe the one who is observing. So I will pause my video and I will continue on my own in a few minutes, and we will meet again. Just we need to round all the corners. You see, if you can continue drawing, you can rotate the paper to look from a different angles, because at the beginning it's not easy to see all the corners. I'm sure that you will probably miss a few at the beginning. Make sure that you do not have anything like lines sticking out. What I meant, well, if you try to connect it with a line, so if you have something like this, like make sure that you make it smooth and nice. A transition. Oops. I have to do something else. That was oops. Just have this habit of creating the double lines. And I connect them so they don't, like here you can see it sticking out. So I'll just take it closer to the line. Okay. A few more corners. And we will almost finish this. So this is almost done, like this drawing, as in terms of drawing. If all the corners are rounded, and I made sure that the lines are these nodes that hubs with connections are nice and smooth. You can make a finer marker, like make nice better jobs, like connect, clean it, but you can do it later on your own to make it nice, smoother drawing. But for now, let's continue with the color. Any color, like just use your intuition to color this drawing, and the color that you would like to feel. Like I'm feeling much more relaxed now. So I always work, and after rounding the corners, that typically when people are feeling like a sense of relaxation, the rounding is very nice and calming. Well, I will do what the process is called in Neurographica integration for the, and explained integrating. So we're integrating all those compartments, cells that we created into larger areas. We're doing it for the why we're integrating for the mind. It's much easier to comprehend fewer units than a larger number of units. And now I noticed at the very top, I forgot a couple of corners. And as you can start drawing, coloring, you will see that you could have missed a few, which is not a problem. Just take your marker and finish. And I will A color I decided. Okay, I decided to go with yellow. And I will apply color. Again, I'm using my intuition. I don't know why. And I will color. Yellow is a very nice color. It's like a light, the sun. It's more to this yellow color when we study in Neurographica in more advanced courses. It's yellow and green. So the only requirement is that when you apply color, you will apply it at minimum at 3 adjacent cells. It's not like just to not create like a patchwork of different colors, but at least minimum three cells united by the same color. You may leave some open, like overlap colors, which I normally do. It's my style. It's just also another suggestion that please, if you when you color, just go on top of the lines. Do not color just a cell like this. And there's the next one. No, you need to color over the lines. Can be some cells white. White is also a color. And typically I include all the colors. So I have my traditional colors that you can see. I have yellow. I rarely use a brown. It's not my color, so I rarely use it. You can have more colors. You can have dark green, dark variation, but I use the typical 7 colors. But you can combine and create new colors by overlapping 2 colors. If you know the theory of colors, you can. I'm not sure whether I would like to go with a dark blue for now. Let's see, like just basic. You can continue coloring on your own, and I will pause my video for a few minutes. So you can see here on my drawing, it's almost done. And I still you can see the sun. It's still a beautiful day in Vancouver. The next step, and following the steps of pure neurographic drawing. It's not even art. This is just the way we draw Neurographica, pure Neurographica. I will include the field lines. It's just the lines that they may follow the existing lines and they carry energy. And typically they are ascending. And now I can see that there were a few lines and a few corners that I didn't complete. You can rotate the drawing and see which one works better for you. It's an abstract drawing. I can see now the shape, which will be the next step. I feel like yeah, I still prefer it this way for now. Might change with the lines. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of drawing the lines, see the shape. This is what we call them resolution. That's something that I can, and I can obviously see the circle here. That's the shape that will change my impression. It's very clear, this one. Let's make it with a thinner marker. It's almost like an egg shape. Leave my hand to draw it. Oval. Here it is. Or maybe the circle. Oh, now I make it an oval. So my hand just made this movement. So I make the lines like significantly thicker because I want this shape to be standing out from all these lines and to change my impression. It was before when we started the drawing to something new. And that's why I did this now, because I will probably make it point this way. So that's why I changed the direction. That's why I didn't want to draw the lines. And now with the lines that I thinking that carry most energy, I will draw them. They like 2 points. They can be the lines, and you can continue and use the lines, that existing lines, or you can draw them on its own. So and that's what I'm going to do. Parted here line, and then it includes the shape, and then it extends there. And I think this is like the same part of the existing line, part of the shape, and 3 lines are typically enough for this size of the drawing. You can make them more prominent. So it's two options. If you want to, in this case, if you want the result to be more important than the process, then emphasize the shape. If you want the process to be more important, then you can make the lines, the field lines, more prominent. I would like the result to be more important because I need to make choice that will allow me to continue, and I will make it stronger. And at the same time, I also need to include it, make part of the drawing, and then this way I will do rounding. So rounding is done not only to soften the corners, to transform our impression, but also to connect separate objects. I will can explain it in my more serious classes. This is just for follow me format, and those who know why we're doing this rounding, and that's great. But for now, just invite you to connect. And I include rounding, and all this shape becomes integral part of this drawing. So I united. Of course, you can make a smaller marker that will allow you to make a much better and work more precise. So the lines, these thick filled lines, have to be rounded, included, and become part of the drawing, and also the shape. Now you can see like a very symbolic that the light shines in part of my drawing. Just another few minutes and we will complete this class, and I will finish my drawing. Because it's Inktober, and because I like drawing with ink and a brush, I'm going to complete this drawing using brush. So the same thing we did with a marker, I do with a brush. This is a little bit more challenging, but the line produced with a drawn with a brush, it's so vibrant, it's so natural. I just love the look of it. And also my hands are more used to drawing with a brush. I am not an artist, but I mostly paint. Quite detailed work. And I find and see more corners that needs to be rounded. Oops. My brush and it doesn't cooperate. So if you see the brush and it's sticking out some hair, needs to be replaced. Go over the lines again with a brush to make it more intense. All those lines. So something that the drawing that I wanted to include, but I can draw like a finer lines. It's more vibrant, more alive. But that's something extra. It doesn't have to be. That's what I'm going to do with my drawing. But you do not. This is the drawing is mostly complete. Just make sure that you integrate the big shape, the new shapes, into the drawing. See, it splits at the end. It's not good. Okay. See whether this brush is better. Okay. The most important step in Neurographica drawing is, of course, reflection. We've done this drawing, but we didn't do it just to spend time nicely. That could be done, but we've done something, wanted to do that because we wanted a change in our impression. And now is the time to reflect on what we've done. Ask yourself, what are you feeling now? Is there anything else you would like to change in this drawing? If there is anything, how you can you compare how you felt before you started the drawing, after we felt? What are you feeling looking at this drawing? For example, I'm feeling more positive. I can see this yellow is more like crescent shaping, and it's an egg shape, which is very positive, the beginning of something that is going to hatch, and I hope it will hatch soon. So I will work a little bit more on this drawing because I would like to include some fine lines to make it more interesting as an artist. But in terms of exercise, Neurographic drawing, this one is complete, and you will complete it with your reflection. What changed? What changed in your emotional state, in your mental state, and on a physical level? If you can notice any change. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this session, and please let me know what you would like to see, what you would like, whether you would like to draw with me in the future. Maybe we can do a live session together that we can draw at the same time. Your comments and questions are always welcome. Thank you very much, and enjoy your drawing and enjoy your day. Bye for now.